Maybe that sounds like a joke, but that is actually my approach. I never bought any training plans, I never had a coach. I just focus on volume, getting as much volume in as my body can handle. Now it's maybe not the most efficient way, and maybe I could even get better results if I would train less. But the reason I'm doing this is because I mainly run for the mental challenge and the mental benefits. So races are always secondary. So that aside, let's take a look at how I trained for my first 100 kilometer race last year, which was, I think, my best training block so far. In the 12 weeks before that race, I averaged 159 kilometers per week. And actually everything went perfect. I did a lot of long runs, I got a lot of elevation in, and the race went exceptionally well because I could train on so much volume. Now I'm trying to do the same thing here while I'm preparing for the Ultra Trail Australia. Let's take a look at last week, for example. I ran 178 kilometers, and how I divided that is basically by running for 2 hours every morning from Monday till Friday. So that results in about 25 kilometers every morning. And then on some days I would do a 3 kilometer barefoot run in the afternoon. And then on Saturday I do a longer run, so longer than 25 kilometers. So I did 42 kilometers this Saturday. Only thing I'm doing in terms of planning my training is I do one tempo session per week. I also highlighted these in other videos. This week I did 10k on tempo of 3 minutes and 48 seconds per kilometer. I think a lot of people are aware of the fact that volume is king when it comes to marathon training and ultramarathon training. But sometimes I hear people say, I don't know how to run that much because running is boring. And I'm always thinking, yes, running is boring, but that's why it's great. The reason for that is it's good to be bored sometimes, but it's also really hard to be bored in our current society because there's all these distractions, social media. There's never really a moment that you can just sit down and just do nothing. Just think about whatever pops up in your head. Now when I run, I don't need all these distractions and I'm not really looking for something else than just running. So it means I can be bored. And I can be bored for this week 15 hours, for example. That is great. So it's not really a problem that running is boring. I think it also comes down to appreciating boredom as something positive and not necessarily negative. Because when you are bored, you can get really creative and productive actually, but it sounds counterintuitive. But in my experience, that is sometimes necessary, to be bored before you can be productive or creative, and that's what we all want, right? So in the upcoming weeks leading to the Ultra Trail Australia, I'm going to focus on volume. And this is how I train for ultramarathons.